We are live all over the world. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Social Authority Marketing Monday edition with your boy, Zach Hoffman and Pat Hilton.
What's up, Pat?
Zach, how are you?
Doing well. How are you? How's your Monday going?
It's great, man. Great. Busy. And we were talking before we hopped on here about like humanoid robots and how they're actually a reality. What was once something that was kind of a funny little droid character in Rocky IV, we were kind of laughing about that, is now a reality. So let's dive right into it. What's that?
How far back was Rocky IV?
So Rocky defeated Ivan Drago in Russia in 1985 in the film. So it's about 40 years old. I was 2 years old when that movie came out.
Yeah, I was pushing 4 or 5, but having brothers, I was definitely tasked with watching that a few times over.
Oh, what a battle.
Rocky a whole number of times.
What a battle.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But for something like that to go from being kind of a quirky little joke in movies to now potentially being able to take out your trash, this is wild.
We're on a whole new horizon. I mean, basically, we're seeing the evolution right before our eyes. You're seeing that these bots might be as low as costing $5,000. Even, there's some that are like rumored to be $30,000, which is still affordable for most people, especially if they finance it. So you're going to see, you could see some rapid adoption here in the near future of actual humanoid robots. And it's going to be limitless as to, I think the impact that you're going to see from these.
So, the first question that's going to come to people's minds, and we got to say it, is like Terminator style. Will they turn on the humans?
Well, then maybe they have to ban some movies. So get in your watching of Terminator 2 before it's gone.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. I think that we're smart enough to program things the right way. But hey, I mean, we'll see. I think there's so many uses for AI, and since it's still in early adoption, I mean, dude, I was on ChatGPT all weekend with my kids, researching all this kinds of crazy stuff, talking about geography and all kinds of stuff, different types of animals and blah, 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 blah. You can ask it to make you a picture now, and it can make pictures. This is crazy. Where are we even going to be by the end of this year?
It's
going to be huge.
By the end of this year. I mean, definitely, I think we're in the midst of a hyper evolution, and you're seeing a lot of technology being rapidly released. There's Japan's World Fair. The World's Fair is in Japan this year, so that's happening mid-April. But one of the topics they're going to be discussing is living with androids. So it's going to be in Japan. They already have a hotel that's fully operated by androids and robots. But I believe as soon as it's released at the World's Fair, you start to see more technology released, and then it's going to end up, coming to our Consumer Electronics Show here. You're just going to see it continue to rapidly evolve. I've seen robots working at restaurants. There's robots that work at hotels. I mean, hospitals as well as hotels, helping carry things through the hallway. So I don't think we're far off from, full robot evolution. Is that
I think that's the way you'd say it. So, I always like to take it to the extreme. Like, could a robot perform brain surgery or open heart surgery at some point in the future safely? I don't know. I am not a doctor or a heart surgeon. You don't want me operating on your heart, but you have to ask yourself, at what point is the robot trainable to work physically to a point where it is almost as good or superior in performance to a human expert? I think I always take it to that extreme because now you're competing against something that can be programmed.
Yeah.
And again, me coming from the music industry, I can program guitars right now and play you one to the next one, and you might not know whether I played it or not because they would sound so close to each other. So again, I come from an industry where instruments were replaced. They call it virtual instruments, and that's why the rise of EDM and DJs and this over the last 20 years has been so significant, because they can create music so much faster by making it virtual. And again, the purists, the musical purists back in the day were not happy about this, but again, the natural evolution. Look at these huge DJ festivals. Those weren't around 15, 20 years ago like they are now.
No,
but
they weren't
virtual
even
instruments made it possible. So
they weren't even deemed music in a lot of ways. And some of those electronic artists like create the largest hits of today.
they do.
They'll even, they'll do collabs with, a lot of like hip hop artists or even rock artists, and they'll make bigger hits than they could have made solo themselves, only because the electronic artists latched onto it and took it global with their shows. So yeah, there's a huge evolution that we're seeing as to the fact that even what was it, audio sound, like when they used to mask their voice. I think like some of the artists in Florida the rappers were the first to do it.
Like auto-tune and stuff.
Auto-tunes, yeah. Like,
T.I. or a
debate
T-Pain, Flow Rida, and now everybody uses that. I can hear it. I hear a country song on the radio, and you can kind of hear the auto-tune crack. And I kind of like that sound. Purists would be like, you didn't even sing that. Guys, the consumer doesn't care. You got to play to what the marketplace demand is. And so you can't be too big of a purist. You got to leverage these machines because they're so useful.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, it's hitting a whole nother level here. But definitely, looking at just the mainstream discussion of humanoid robots and being able to produce them at a rapid rate and put them out into market, it's going to take us into a whole new quantum world here in the next, 5 to 10 years.
I think it's awesome.
Big evolution.
So I'm in a group, and I do want to plug them because they're friends of mine and they've helped me for many, many, many years. So there is a group called AI for Business. And I do suggest if you're a Facebook user, you guys join it. My friend Brian Hansen and Francis Abiola run it. And those guys are actually the guys that put me on stage. It was my first paid MC gig. This was probably 2019. So
nice.
5 or 6 years ago. Great dudes. And I've really watched them because they're very good at like finding a tool right when it comes out. And they posted something the other day. There's an AI called Suno that can like help you write songs. And then there's another thing called like Hexa or Hedra. They're going to kill me for not knowing all the words. And you can literally use it to kind of make the song. And then you can make like a fake character that sings the song. And I'm telling you, it's singing a song and I'm looking at it and I'm like, wow, this looks very, very real and sounds fantastic. This female vocalist is singing this is good. And it was a robotic generated thing. There was no human touch at all. It was 100% built by machine. And so again, music is my reference, but like, wow, to see you can just click a button and this thing shows up and sings you a song. Again, that wasn't possible 12 months ago. And now it is.
It's
so what's
wild,
going to happen when a physical robot, like you're saying, a physical actual unit, not just something that you program on your screen, but something that lives physically, can now interact with you and do things with you or take out the trash or walk the dogs. I mean, this is going to be crazy. They're going to be little robots walking dogs down the street in people's neighborhoods.
Yeah, I don't think we're far from that, unfortunately. It's always nice to see a neighbor walking the dog or taking out their trash to be able to say hi. But I was saying to my wife the other day, I was like, I don't think we're far from a point where people might not leave their house, man. It's could get a little wild out there.
You're going to have R2D2 and C3PO walking people's dogs down the street in their neighborhoods.
Look, man, get out there and have fun. Get out there and experience things. There's nothing more important than that because you can't like recreate memories and like what's actually like happening in the physical world. I went out a lot this weekend and
saw you at a game, right?
Yeah, I went to the Marlins game. Baseball's back, Major League Baseball. Marlins are 3-1 for now, so it's pretty nice. But definitely, being out there in the real world. I'm also doing a couple trade shows. I did one last week. I'm doing one this week. But getting out there, seeing people, shaking hands, and just meeting people is critical, man. Just getting out there into the real world environment.
Well, and I love that you said that. By the way, the St. Louis Cardinals are 3-0 in the National League Central. I always got to give my hometown a little love. But you guys have played more games. You're 3-1, so they could be 3-1 soon too. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah. Like you said, I think if you're able to leverage like the humanoid robot or whatever it is, the robotic physical unit, and it is actually able to buy you time so that you can go do those things. You can go create more market share, shake more people's hands, build more relationships, communicate better. I think that's a great use of time, because think about it. How much money are you spending on hiring X, Y, and Z person to do or fulfill a task? If that robot can do it and you pay, I don't know what it would cost for a unit. What's the ROI on that unit versus maybe a human that has to do those jobs? That's where it's going to, like I said, that's where it's going to come into play. What's the ROI? Well, if I spend this on the robot, I get to use the robot forever. But how much is it going to cost me over here to get those same tasks done to pay somebody else to do it? Because entrepreneurs, that's how we think.
Training learning models, getting into like the evolution of like just training it on information. It's not always going to give you the right answer right outside the box, but you don't give up on it, and you talk back and like communicate with the AI and the robotics to get you to the answers quicker or more efficiently. Definitely is a time saver, a huge time collapser, and it really will get you to the next level in a rapid clip. I think that those that aren't, enabling themselves to utilize it and encouraging it at their organizations are going to fall behind so rapidly. I know that, we do a bit of AI consulting, and we do provide, AI advice to a number of like operations out there. And some of the biggest pushback you get is, when you start to ask teams to assist you, and, what they know is inevitably going to happen, so it's essentially, it's a challenge to get people to adopt, being compatible with AI and robotics. But AI and robotics is really here. It's not a matter of like
it's coming. No, it's now. Right.
Yeah, it's now, like right now. It's I read an article where everybody's favorite guy, Elon Musk, quoted that like, starting to really invest in AI. And this was like 2018 was basically summoning the devil. Like it's starting to, bring something that humanity was going to have a lot of questions about as soon as it started to take grasp and hold. And we've only seen it for about a year and a half now, and the evolution has just been so fast and so, ferocious in a lot of ways.
Dude, ferocious for sure. Like I said, I was asking ChatGPT questions over the weekend. My wife and I stayed up like Friday on ChatGPT asking it all kinds of questions about
Really?
about like her background in faith, and like my background in faith, how they're similar, and this and that and the other thing. And it's like, wow, it's like very interesting because of how easy it is for the machine to be like, here's the commonalities, here's this, and blah, 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 and unite. And the machine, I think because I talk to it, it's used to my energy. The way that it responds is like really positive, and here's the commonalities, and here's how you guys can really thrive together. It was really neat how it presented the information. Because it always started with here's the commonalities, and then maybe here's some differences, but blah, 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 blah. And I was like, wow, what a neat way to put that, because that can turn into a real mess when you talk about certain topics. And the way that it's able to bullet point things out is so easy to digest, and it's easy to discuss, and it starts with the positives, and you're able to focus on your common ground. I think it can be a very useful tool for uniting people across the planet if used correctly. And again, that's my programming, so it depends on how you program the machine.
Oh, for sure. And, there's going to be doers that do things that aren't, so positive, unfortunately. But at the end of the day, hopefully it brings humanity to a better place.
Yep.
It's definitely going to allow us to evolve. And, it's something that I think even like Walt Disney envisioned, where he was like basically wanted to, the rumor is he wanted to preserve his mind and body to like be, live again.
Like recycled almost.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Elon has like an android persona that's being programmed in a lab or something that's,
Right.
out there. He's, him and a few of the other, Silicon Valley bigwigs definitely, I'm sure, programming or developing something that
Some kind of machine brain unit or whatever.
emulates them and where they go and what they do and how they behave. For sure, it's going to be we're moving into a whole new era, and it's happening quickly. I mean, it's like, look, we're in 2025. If you
Mm-hmm.
think even like where the world was 50 years ago, 1975, I mean, we're still on like set-top cable boxes, like trying to unscramble channels or whatnot. I mean, I wasn't alive. I was born in 81, and that's the
Right.
things we were doing. So, color TV and black and white TV were just a thing, and now we're moving into a whole new world where it's becoming virtual reality, augmented reality.
Right.
Get your little people out from behind that screen because it's so critical to have that communication.
Mm-hmm.
Get your big people out from behind that screen because it's so critical to get out there and indulge in the real environment.
Well, yeah, dude. And I also think that it's like the more you use it and the more you know how to communicate it, the better result you're going to get. And I think that the people that are still avoiding just trying to use the tools, like Megan, my wife, her dad, I was talking to her dad about AI. We're driving in the car, pick up something from Walmart when he was in town the other day or whatever, some kind of screwdriver we didn't have or Allen wrench, whatever the heck it was. He's the handyman. I'm the computer dork of the lineage. And so we're riding in the car and I'm talking to him about AI and blah, 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 blah. And he's like, explain to me like I don't know anything because I don't. What is AI? I'm like, well, AI is literally a list of apps and programs and tools that can help you accomplish things or give you information or knowledge on specific topics. And so I showed him ChatGPT. So this company, OpenAI, and obviously we're all from St. Louis. He lives in St. Louis still. Sam Altman's from St. Louis. So now you've got a St. Louis hometown guy from where we're from who innovated this much. And this ChatGPT can give you information on anything. You just have to ask it. And so I said, hey, give me, because hockey fan and coach for youth for whoever knows how long. And I'm like, hey, give me the Stanley Cup winners, every Stanley Cup winner. And it was like, shunk. And there was a list. I'm like, watch this, because I'm driving. So I'm like, give me a Stanley Cup winner. And I just hand him the phone. And it's just boom, 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 boom. And he's like, whoa. And I'm like, that's what AI is.
Yeah.
That's AI. It's like Google on steroids.
Oh, for sure. And wait till it gets like more visual detection in play and just it's pretty awesome as to
It's
like
incredible.
Where it's going.
I love it, dude. And to be able to use a tool like that to program a unit, dude, that's going to be next level. Ladies and gentlemen, Marketing Monday, get ready for it. C3PO is going to be walking your neighbor's dog soon.
Taking out your garbage can for
sure. Taking out your garbage can. But have no fear. Zach and Pat are here. So, ladies and gentlemen, make sure to go follow Zach Hoffman. Give me a follow. Follow the show. Let us know topics that you like, or if you see any articles or knowledge or SEO stuff or social media stuff or website stuff you'd like us to take a look at. Drop the links in the comments of any of these streams and come back to see us soon. Zach, always a pleasure, my friend.
Pat, have an awesome week, and we'll be talking soon for sure.
Rock on. Thank you all. We'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Boom. Perfect. Got it. So good.